What is up, folks? Welcome back to another live stream repair. Let's see here. We have been out of town for the past few days, so we had quite a few show up in that time. Let's find Aaron's info and okay. I found the right Aaron. I messaged the wrong Aaron when we streamed this one on the last stream. Let's go ahead and get them a link. Very good. Okay, so we've got Aaron's HomePod here. That's got the blinking volume buttons, or eternal boot, or in any case, it's got a issue with it where it will not boot up all the way. We attempted a USB restore during our last stream, and it looked like it was going to take it. It looked so good, in fact, that I actually ended the stream before it finished, thinking that it was going to finish and it was going to be uneventful. I wasn't going to make people sit around and wait. Lo and behold, it did not take the software restore. So it's going to need a new logic board. I did try a few more times. I left it plugged in and what have you while I was out of town the past few days, and it's still, there's nothing that I can seem to do to get this to work with any easy way. So we're going to do it the other way, which is a replacement logic board. And while we've got it apart, we're going to do the other hardware maintenance, which is the Schottky diode on the amplifier that tends to go bad and cause no power if it's one of those with the usual date code. Not all those diodes go bad, but a lot of them do, and it's only ones in that particular date range that we know of. And then we've got those DC filters that naturally decay over time. Whether they're being used or not, they all naturally decay and lose their effectiveness at filtering DC voltage. And they used a couple of these types of filters for the amplifier's DC offset. So we gotta get those replaced before they go bad and fry the subwoofer. We'll take a peek around the rest of the internals, just make sure there isn't anything else looking or smelling funny. And then the last thing is the foam subwoofer gasket. We'll get that replaced with a solid rubber one. Not that there's anything wrong with the foam, but in theory the rubber should last longer, and it does give a noticeable improvement to the bass response. So we'll get that all taken care of. And let me see if I can remember what this was doing. It got 100% of the way. No, it did not. What happened was it would get about 20 to 40% of the way through and then abort and fail. And I tried 18.1, I tried 18.2, nada. So at some point, I would like to figure out why this won't take a software restore. But for now, we've got another logic board programmed for a white HomePod. Ready to use. All right, let's get some isopropyl alcohol in here. We're gonna swirl that around so it gets all over the glue holding this speaker basket down. So when we go to pry it up in a few minutes, it doesn't put up too much of a fight. Easy peasy, like it wasn't even glued down. Subwoofer looks and smells good. Let's get up close. Beardo. That's a sick name. Welcome, welcome, by the way. I am so sorry about the mix-up on, I think it was Thursday we were last working on these. I totally texted the wrong Aaron. All right, let's get up close, and we're gonna replace those filters first. They gotta go. Even if they're working okay now, we don't trust like that here. I've tested them in the past and only replaced them if they tested bad, and then a few weeks or a few months later, heck, even if it's been like a year or two after that, we get people reaching back out. Hey, you fixed my HomePod. It hasn't had the same issue again, but now it's death farting. Puts everybody in a weird spot, and I'd rather just take the extra time and parts to replace all that while we can. So here we go. We'll get these filters replaced first so they don't have any of the common bass issues or death farts. I was wondering why they weren't going anywhere. We need to turn that up. I'm feeling like 463 today. Oh boy, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 that we gotta get through today. And then I had another 11 or so show up since we've, no, more like 14 or 15 since we've been gone. Jeez. I don't mind the business, but where's everyone coming from all of a sudden? Oh, and with the recent software update that got pushed out, 18.2, I'm sure we're gonna get another large influx showing up here. What's our diode? Ooh, it is a 48K date-coded diode. It's the 46K and the 48K that we see failing and causing these no power issues. So we'll get that replaced. I am fully prepared for this backlog though. I ordered plenty more parts for everything while I was out, so that when I got back I had no worries. It was great timing. I ran out of filters and subwoofer gaskets right before I left. We'll put that in the used pile. I keep every single one of these diodes that we replace, and all the filters too, I guess. But I'm not as excited to collect all the old filters as I am all these old diodes. More for curiosity, just to see what it looks like in person. The ratio between, out of all the diodes that we've replaced, ones that are dead and not, and then which ones, or how many of those have which date codes. Yeah, we could write it all down and have it in a spreadsheet, but that's not as exciting. I like having a big fat pile of dead parts. Shotkey soup. Okay. We have gotten the major maintenance items done. Let's get this put back together with a new subwoofer gasket and a replacement working logic board. I should make this one happy HomePod again. If you don't mind, I'm going to share your info to my socials and let people know you can fix HomePods. Absolutely. Absolutely. You are all perfectly welcome to share all of my stuff wherever you want. Steezy, what is up? Welcome back. Welcome, welcome. And Raj, welcome, welcome. We got a party going. I've been out of town the past few days, just popped over to the other side of the state to hang out with some family. Does this? I don't have that set up right. Dang it. Oh. We're already 20 minutes into it and we're still putting this thing together. Yeah, this is definitely the warm-up HomePod. We gotta pick up the pace if we wanna get through everything we want to today. something is not sealing properly. Oh, it's that one. All right, let's see here. You get back in there. Yep, that's more like it. We need a display cable. I'll take that from their old logic board. Sorry about that. There's not really much any trick to lining this up other than just trying to visually estimate it as best as possible as you put it down. Alright. Let's see if we stuck this back together with good parts or if it's gonna need to come back apart here. Is the HomePod locked to the user like iPhones or Macs? No, they are not. If you get a HomePod, like a used HomePod that hasn't been reset yet, then there's nothing stopping anybody from doing the tap and hold until it beeps 3 times to reset it method. That in and of itself doesn't remove it from the old Apple account, but when you set it up with a new Apple account, then that will add it to yours and presumably remove it from theirs. But in any case, there's really no lock on these. All right, the next one, we've got 2 from Ken. Let's go ahead and shoot them a message. And we'll shoot Mumezin a link as well, so hopefully they have as much heads up to join in and watch theirs too. Oops. Undo. Copy the link. Sent. Okay. Almost. Let's go over here. Let's put Ken down. All right. No lights, no power, no nothing other than a couple of watts at the wall, according to our kilowatt. Let's get this apart and get it all fixed up. Oh yes, and Aaron, you will hear back from us after our stream, so you can get your HomePod back. Very nice. little bit of alcohol. Gonna swirl it around so it soaks into the speaker basket's glue. When we go to pry that up in a minute, it'll be a lot easier. Does Apple spy on you when you're using the HomePod? I mean, that's a fair question. It's a funny one, but it's a fair one. They don't necessarily spy on you per se. I mean, they definitely take the data that you've allowed or that you've specifically shared with them. They definitely use that to improve their products. Ooh. Got a good looking bass speaker in there. Now, as far as I know, Apple doesn't use the HomePod to collect data to target ads for you, if that's what you're asking. That said, your other devices around the house that might have a hot mic listening to you, like your phone, with a bad app on there. And then you wonder why you get an ad for something that you were just talking to your significant other about, like yesterday. But it makes you wonder, is it simply because you talked about it yesterday that you noticed an ad for it today? Or was something actually listening to you and that data turned into a targeted ad? But as far as I know, there's nothing like that going on with HomePods, at least. I think that's one of the reasons why HomePods are as popular as they are and not, less popular, at least. Not to say that everyone's got one, right? But I think a lot of people chose the HomePod because they could trust Apple over Google or Amazon. Alright, fart filters first. These go bad over time, and they cause the death farts. They are supposed to filter unwanted DC voltage that naturally occurs with any Class D audio amplifier. But Apple's filter of choice decays and loses its effectiveness at its most important task. So we get those replaced with new ones, we stay ahead of it, and we won't have to see this HomePod again. Unless they're giving it to us or selling it to us. Oh, for those curious, I did run out of my tube of flux, and I had to order more, and it still smells like body odor when you heat it up. So they must have changed, like straight up changed the formula, or maybe I'm getting knockoff flux from the same seller, which would be, it'd be weird, but I guess not the first time something like that's happened to people. Anyways, we've got a 46K dated diode here that needs to get replaced. That is what's causing our power issues. So we'll knock that out. And then this should be ready to go back together. There's our new one. We'll get some flux on there so it's ready to tin with some fresh solder. Unlike the filters that naturally go bad whether they're being used or not even, this diode should not be failing. The only reason it is failing is from some sort of quality control issue during 2 weeks of manufacturing of these diodes. And unfortunately, I don't think Apple even, understandably, I don't think they kept track of what date code of diode went into each HomePod, so if they wanted to recall these, they'd have to recall every single one of them. On the bright side, if you get it replaced, you get this diode replaced with a brand new one, it won't happen again. Something else will fail before the diode does. But these diodes do not fail on their own like this. So who's responsible? Is it Apple? Is it Diodes Incorporated? The manufacturer of this diode? Will anybody be held accountable for this? Or are we just experiencing some form of bias because sure, it seems like there's a lot of broken ones out there. I mean, even if you only look at how many we've fixed well over 3,000 by now, and there's still, seems like things aren't slowing down, but out of how many sold? 3? It was either 1.3 or like 3 million HomePods were sold, I think, was the rough estimate. So we don't know how many are actually broken out there. All we know is how many get sent into us and how many of those have what issue. It would be good to know. But maybe there's no recall in sight because maybe there really aren't a significant number of them affected, and simply because there's pretty much no one else out there fixing them. Of course we're going to see them all. We're going to get a bunch of them. But these are the thoughts that rattle my brain. That's another statistic that I lose sleep over, just trying to think about, is like how many people, like you said, just throw these out without even giving it a second thought, or have paid Apple for an out of warranty replacement, which means, or heck, any time that Apple has replaced a HomePod for you, it's been a first gen from the same production run, just in a different box. They don't repair them. All they do is replace them. And we're talking just first gens. I don't know what they do for the second gens and the minis. But for the first gens, they do not take a single one of those things apart when you send it in for repair or replacement. They go straight to recycling. Repairability score should be 1 out of 10. If you ask me, I give it a 10 out of 10. Oh, we can get one of these fixed in under 20 minutes if we really try, so you're asking the wrong guy. Nice and sealed. I would expect somebody who's reasonably proficient in taking electronics apart, and or if you've done any kind of micro soldering in the past, then you should be able to get one of these done yourself for the first time in under a few hours. Maybe like a weekend project if you took your time and took it slow. But definitely more repairable than some other stuff that I've attempted to fix in the past. Just based on like factors such as risk and how easy it is to get it apart and put it back together. The things that like commonly break the most when people try their first time. Like a lot of times people break the plastic cap and that's about it. They can get it apart and fix it and put it back together. Most people that try, that is. And then, you know, it's as compared to like a Microsoft Surface, for example, before they started making those things more repairable. I tried working on a Surface tablet and ended up having to replace the screen and like digitizer like twice because the cables and the display is just so darn delicate. I ended up not ever breaking the display, but it would just stop responding to touch. And the cables fused to the panels, of course, so I can't just swap the cable and try another one. I gotta buy a whole replacement display and digitizer assembly. But at the flip side, I wouldn't recommend anybody just try to fix their own HomePod. If you've got nothing to lose, I say go for it. But if you're really worried about it, if you don't feel confident, then I would pay a pro. Or at the least, procure for yourself another broken HomePod for parts at a price reasonable enough that you would be much more comfortable losing at compared to possibly a much more fixable issue on the one that when you give it a real go. My first HomePod was actually one that I bought broken. It was after I had bought an open box HomePod from Best Buy, just as like a little birthday/Christmas present to myself. And I was absolutely addicted and I had to get more of them. But I didn't really want to spend that much money on a bunch more of them. No way I could afford that. But I did notice people would sell broken ones for a really good price. So I thought, hey, what if I bought a couple broken ones and see if I can like fix them? Maybe these are easy issues. When I got my first broken HomePod, it took me like an hour to get this plastic top off. And the rest was pretty much a piece of cake. But this top was the toughest part. Next toughest would have been prying that speaker basket up, of course. And I didn't have a hot air rework station at the time. All I had was my soldering iron. So what I ended up doing was taking a knife and breaking, like stabbing the old diode to pieces with it still on the board, and then soldering a new diode pretty much on top of its remains. And surprisingly, it still works to this day, actually. 3+ years later. All right. Come on. Talk to me. This one's probably on like OS, maybe OS 17, 16.
I'm having trouble.
There we go. Volume buttons light up nice and evenly. That is one of 2 happy HomePods for Ken. Let's get that second one up here now. And it's probably going to be the exact same deal here. No lights, no power, no nothing. We're hovering around 6 watts at the wall. Alright, alright. Let's give it a go. Very nice. Let's make sure those volume buttons are nice and clear. When I go to put the top back down, they that way they can be nice and evenly lit. Which is better, first gen or second gen? Subjectively, I like how the first gen sounds a lot more than the second gen. The second gen, I would have told you, would be more reliable, but unfortunately there is an ever-increasing number of people complaining about ghost or phantom touch issues with their second gens and the Mini, where they'll randomly start and stop music, trigger the voice assistant, and randomly turn the volume up and down. Unfortunately, I've seen enough people confirm now that 18.2 has not helped at all with that. Meanwhile, with the first gen, if you can get past the original batch of hardware issues these have, then I haven't really seen any other long-term issues with them. If you keep up on maintenance, basically if you don't keep using it, if it starts death farting, stop using it. Aside from that, I generally don't see these things fail without a given reason. I'm not fighting this today. We've got a screw that's refusing to come out for the power supply. There we go. I do not feel like dealing with a stripped or broken screw today. I don't got time for that. We also, on the flip side, you know, I haven't seen or heard of any death farts for the second gens yet. And I haven't heard of like no bass or anything of the sorts. You know, I guess it's kind of 50-50 split. You've got the filters and the diode in the first gen, but then you've got the touch panel in the second gen. And the filters and the diode you can replace with off-the-shelf parts, but that touch panel issue requires a new touch panel. And there's no replacement for those, even though it'd be like a $10 to $20 part if Apple sold them. And they could sell it as like a repair kit too, with like a replacement mesh and a lengthened drawstring so you can tighten it all back up, put it back together. Man, opportunity for you guys there at Apple. People would be happy too. They'll be more than happy to spend $20 to $40 on some parts to fix their second gens. But I've still got all of my original HomePods that I've had my whole time, and they're still kicking. As a matter of fact, my original one never got new filters. I think I'm still using original filters. Alright. Fancy fresh new filters. Let's flip this around and get that dead diode out of here. Another 48K. Yes, death farts. It's that loud buzzing sound followed by an unexpected restart. Let me see if my soundboard still works. If a sound played, that's what it sounds like. If no sound played, then I sound crazy. But death farts is the name of the issue that people call when these HomePods behave like that. And here we've got a new diode. Unlike those filters that naturally decay over time and go bad, whether they're being used or not, they'll eventually need to be replaced again. They should at least outlast the originals that Apple used, but in theory they should last a lot longer. This diode shouldn't have failed in the first place, but we'll get it replaced with a brand new, bigger, better, higher quality diode, so it certainly doesn't happen again. And that's it. Let's get it put back together. Nothing played. I don't know why that's not playing anything. But there are a few videos out there on YouTube of if you search HomePod death fart. Hopefully you'll run into nothing but my repair videos, but you should find some examples out there so you get an idea what a death fart sounds like. I also have sound samples of it on my website. If you go to nixfix.com and you search for, actually I have it under the known issues, and I've got a very nice explanation for it there under the known issues for death farts. Oh, I see why. I don't have any, like, where do I show my desktop audio going through OBS? Oh yeah, here we go. Desktop audio is disabled. Let's try this. Can you hear this? Oh, I didn't see nothing. Okay, hold on. That didn't work either. Properties. Which sound output is it using? It still doesn't work. That's because my fart.mp3 is missing. Okay, is this gonna work now? Yeah, it worked. That's what a death fart sounds like. That's probably gonna scare a few people, I'm sorry. Everybody watching my stream in the background on their HomePods is probably like, did my HomePod do that? I would like to get the actual audio file that makes that sound and not just record it on my phone's camera. But I'm pretty sure that tone, that buzz sound, is programmed into the amplifier chip itself. It's not part of the OS. As far as the brain of the HomePod's concerned, it does not realize that it just death farted. It just sees that the amp turned off and on again. And since it gets its power through the amp, of course, something's not sealing. I'll take this back apart. See what's not sealing. That's more like it. All right. 2 for 2. That's what's up. While that's booting up, let's shoot Toshio a message so they've got plenty of time to join in. There we go.
I'm having trouble.
There we go.
I'm having trouble connecting.
Yes. Ken's 2 for 2. Let's move on to Lumizen. Lumizen. I don't know how you pronounce that. That is an interesting name, though. Let's see what they've got. They should have no power here. Let's get their name up on the screen. All right. No lights, no power, no nothing. A couple of watts from the wall. Y'all know what that means. I don't know if we're going to be able to save this. We will give it our darndest effort. There we go. That's a sound. I'm gonna make an album called The Sounds of HomePods. And it's just gonna be like a 20-30 minute EP of nothing but the sounds of me working on a HomePod. All right. Up close, let's get those fart filters first. Those DC filters that just love to go bad over time, whether they're being used or not, resulting in death farts. We'll get those replaced so this thing doesn't have to come back to us anytime soon. And then we'll flip the board around and replace that dead diode that's causing their power issue. A little bit of flux to help the solder flow. Corrosion immediately builds up on those copper pads here, and that will prevent solder from properly bonding the parts together. Doesn't really help take anything off, just helps make things flow where they need to go. Nice. Let's get that 46K dated diode out of here. Is it? Vietnam, what is up? Welcome, welcome. How you doing? How's the weather? What time is it? Hope you and your HomePods, if you have any, are doing alright. Do I buy HomePods? Oh, I buy them. I only buy the old ones. But if you're in Vietnam, I don't think I can afford the shipping. If you're trying to sell me yours. Nice and sealed. right. Toshio is next, and then after that we've got Mike.
I'm having trouble.
Very good, very good. Let's see if we can get this Apple sticker back on here. I think it was right about there on the front-ish. Excuse me. I don't know how well it's going to stick back on there now that we've taken it off, but there we go. Let's switch our names up on the screen. All right. No lights, no power, no nothing. A couple of watts from the wall. Y'all know the drill. Ooh. Oh, that was close. Oh, I did scratch myself. But I did not cut myself. Close call. Oh, I am bleeding a little bit. Let me censor that so I don't get it demonetized and all that jazz. All right, let's see how long that lasts. The mesh on this one's falling apart. This poor HomePod. It's been through a lot, huh? Got a 48K dated diode there. Oh, those screws are so irritating. There we go. Easily my least favorite part of working on these. If I could choose one step that I didn't have to deal with, it would be these cursed screws. Oh! Get in there. What's wild is the holes are perfectly lined up. There's no reason for these to be all cattywampus. But they're putting up one hell of a fight here. It's making me lose what hair I've got left. There we go. Oof. Nice and sealed. Talk to me. Say something. Or waste my time. That's cool too. I wonder what Apple was thinking when they updated the software to do this in particular, where it sits here for a minute, flashing its lights. Doesn't say anything.
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet.
There was a particular version. None of these, they used to not do it.
I'm having trouble.
As soon as you plug it in, you could tap it, and it would start complaining about the Wi-Fi, and you didn't have to wait for it. But then they updated the software, and it's a mixed bag. Sometimes you literally have to sit there for like 3+ minutes for it to time out before it says anything. And I wonder how many people think that their HomePod has no sound because of that behavior. Because I've bought broken HomePods, and when I've gotten them, they work just fine. So, okay, we've got Mike now, and then we got a couple anonymous ones, Tony and then Jason. No lights, no power, no nothing there. Let's see. 125 and 133. We'll do 125 first. Alright, no lights, no power, couple of watts from the wall. Y'all know the drill. Kitty, kitty, kitty. Ooh, rubbing alcohol in the eye. Ooh, that stings. Man, what a stream today. Hurting ourselves all over. All right. Up close, let's get those filters first. Uh-oh. The fan in this thing used to only rattle when it was really cold, and after I used it a few times it would go away, but now it's kind of staying. Your time is near. But I mean, 3,000 plus HomePods, more than 3 years of almost daily use. This heat gun has done quite a good job. Oh, that bottom one. There we go. Yes, perfect. Let's get that dead diode out of here. What have we got? Another 48K dated diode there. Oh, that was close. That was real close. I'm not messing around here. All right. Let's put you back together. Oh, don't fight with me. Oh my. There we go. I'm gonna make a template for these so you can literally just drop a handful of screws down here and they'll just fall into place. This is driving me nuts. Oh yeah, somebody had texted me the other day. I keep getting people suggesting the idea that we make like a template for those 4 little filters on the back of the amp. It's not a bad idea. I would love to execute that one day. Should be pretty easy. Just take a couple measurements on how far apart they are from each other. Add clearance for any of the other parts nearby. You're good to go. And if we can do that, then we can make a template for the amp chip. Because that's tricky. Those filters, I can do those all day without a problem. But that amp chip that's next to it, I usually don't bother replacing it. I'll just swap the whole amp board out if I have to replace that chip. Excuse me. Yes. All right. All right. And let's see.
I'm having trouble connecting to the. I'm having trouble connecting.
All right. We're getting through it, folks. We're getting through it. I think we'll be done at a reasonable time today. We've got NP125 there. The number isn't really significant. It's just to help me keep track of who I'm working on when they request that we don't put their name up there, you know? But in any case, let's see, no lights, no power, no nothing other than a couple of watts from the wall. That looks like the typical dead diode repair that we do here. Let's give it a go. The 125 does correlate to the number that they are in my list of repair requests. I made a Google form with some basic questions for people to fill out before they send their HomePod in for repair. I only started doing that about a month or so ago. But the idea was to hopefully make everything a little smoother and easier to track. It hasn't. To a degree, it's actually ended up making things take more time than just keeping it all in my email. But on the flip side, it does prevent a lot of duplicate questions, like asking people for their address and then them not telling it to me until I've asked 2 or 3 more times. And I mean, I'm not, it's not really annoying or anything. It's just, it all adds up to the total amount of time it takes for me to get to it, reply to you so that you can send it in and get it fixed and I can send it back to you. And I thought having that Google form, well, it has helped a lot, because now I can just shoot people an email or a text message with a link to their shipping label if that's what they wanted. I still get the goofballs that ask questions that are answered on it, but I've done the same thing. wife is home. Let me help her bring stuff in. All right. We're back. Let's see, where were we? Were we taking this apart or were we putting it back together? Geez, if that tells you how much I go on autopilot when I work on these things sometimes. What was I doing? Looks like we were taking it apart. Yeah, we haven't taken this apart yet. Hey, don't laugh at me. It's been a long stream. Yes!
Also,
Ooh!
$2 at Michael's. I got you a little espresso cup.
Thank you.
You got an opener?
Yeah, I got plenty. Check this out.
Uh-oh. Wow. I love you.
I love you. Cheers.
Oh, and we got the good PCC veggies today, Nick.
Mm.
The carrots. You got green beans, broccoli, and potatoes. Is that good?
Yeah, you got the carrots with the listeria, right?
No.
Oh.
I got the rainbow carrots. They got the gang. Sorry. You're gonna catch it too. Oh, if I say that, you'll get them on.
Yeah, hey, get out of here. This is a neutral channel. No opinions here. Ooh. There we go. Let's get that unstuck. Yeah. Yes. Ooh. Okay. Let's get those filters. Our favorite filters. They love to go bad. Whether you're using them or not, they're gonna do it. They're gonna go bad, and they're gonna fart around. FAFO, fart around and find out. You don't wanna. I got sick of ordering replacement filters every week with the increase in demand for repairs recently has thrown me off of my usual routine of when I buy parts. So instead of buying the normal couple of hundred filters and diodes that I normally buy, I bought 1,000 of each. I'm done waiting for these things to show up. And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take half of all the money that we make from today's stream, and I'm gonna turn around and I'm gonna buy a couple thousand of more of these parts. Because I'm not looking forward to what those tariffs might be doing to the cost of parts, and I don't want to wait around to find out. If I can, I'd like to buy like at least a year or two's worth of supply up front. And the more you buy at once, the cheaper it gets, too. On the flip side, if you remember us saying, those filters go bad whether they're being used or not. The last thing I want to do is buy too many filters. Probably not possible, but I don't want to buy too many and then have them go bad before I even get to them. But I would have to, let's see, if we average, we've been averaging pretty steadily about 1,000 HomePods a year. So, let's say they could sit on the shelf for 1 or 2 years before they might start having some. I don't actually know what the shelf life is. I'd have to look. If the shelf life's more than 10 plus years before they see any drop in capacitance, then I need not worry. Got some solder blobs that squeezed out. I don't want those floating around and wreaking all sorts of havoc. Okay. The Schottky diode, like the one that we just replaced, unlike those filters, they can sit around and they won't go bad. So I can hoard as many diodes as I want, and I don't have to worry about that. But the diodes are a one-time thing. Like, you replace it, and you don't have to worry about it again. So, in theory, there's only so many HomePods that need new diodes, and then we won't need any more. Those filters, they go bad. So they're going to need to be replaced routinely. No, not every couple of years, but I can still perfectly imagine people using these things 5, 10, 15 years from now still. They're fantastic. And if Apple can keep them software-wise at least working the same that they do today, then plenty of people have no reason to get rid of them or replace them. Now, we all know that's Apple's last incentive, is to make something that someone never wants to or needs to or has to replace again. But they also do have a pretty good track record of leaving a given discontinued product in a decent state software-wise when they do discontinue it completely, i.e. the Airport Express. I know plenty of people that still use those as their primary Wi-Fi routers to this day. Mostly because they believe that HomePods were mostly tested and developed with and against airports, and people think that since it's an Apple Wi-Fi router, it's going to work best with the Apple smart speaker. Sound logic, if you ask me. No real hard evidence to prove any of that, but it's sound logic. Point is, those airports were discontinued so long ago. And then even after they discontinued them, Apple said, hey, guess what? Here's an update on that dinky little V2 Express that you guys love so much with the auxiliary port on it. We're going to enable AirPlay 2. So who knows where they're going to take HomePods and when they'll discontinue them even. It's really surprising that they even continue to push software updates to them to this day, because internally they run an iPhone 6 chipset. So they discontinued the iPhone, what was it, iOS 16 or 17? Nice and sealed. Yes.
I'm having trouble connecting to the.
Yes.
I'm having trouble.
Yes. We move on now to NP number 133. They actually sent 2 in. Let's see what it's got. No lights, no power, no nothing. A couple of watts from the from the wall. Excuse me. Let's get this fixed. I have mad PTSD about this part. The tool sliding out and cutting me open. That's happened way too many times here. And it always happens after I have done the first pass and I go for the second one. Because the resistance to cut through it, as you can see here, gets suddenly very easy. And if you're not really careful, you'll catch the moment it goes from super hard to super easy, and your tool flicks out, and you do that. Give yourself a little cut. So be careful if you're working on these yourself. I don't even recommend you try using this tool until you've gotten the hang of it and you know what I'm talking about. A credit card, some rubbing alcohol, some dental floss or fishing line. Those are all lower risk to bodily injury tools to use to get those tops off your first time. Alright, here we are. Let's get those filters replaced. I don't like how close that top one is to that capacitor right above it. That'll do. Now, let's take care of that dead diode. Got a 46K over there. Ah! Yes, yes. Well, looks like it's, oh, there we go.
I'm having trouble connecting to the
All right, all right. Here is their second one. Let's shoot Tony a message so they've got plenty of time to join in. Alright, let's see. Probably the same symptoms. They were right about the first one. They're probably right about this one too. Yeah, no lights, no power, a couple of watts. And it's probably going to be the same repair. Here we go. Where are my go-to... What is up, Alex? Welcome back. What are my go-to snacks if they happen to appear in my P.O. box? Oh, that is a good question. I love my good old-fashioned plain potato chips. I love chocolate. And I love popcorn. I hate most nuts. I hate creamy sour cream, mayonnaise, cottage cheese, any of that kind of stuff. Get out of here. Oh, that reminds me. I was trying to think of, like, I wonder if you're trying to get me a snack off Amazon. And I had bought a couple of boxes off Amazon a few days ago. And what I got instead was a pack of 6 protein bowls. Like lentils and rice protein bowls. And so I reached out to their support and I was like, hey, I got protein bowls instead of boxes. And they were like, okay, you can keep them. We'll send what you ordered out next day. And the next day comes around. They sent me more protein bowls. All I want are my boxes. I mean, I can't complain about some free food. But I really needed those boxes, yeah? I don't know what was going on. Because it was an item that was sold and shipped by Amazon. It wasn't a third-party seller or anything. And it's not like these were super expensive boxes. I mean, it was a pack of 40 for $25. Realistically, what they sent me instead probably cost more than what I was trying to get. Very strange issue. I'm sure if you tried to buy those boxes yourself, you'd probably get those protein bowls. It's an 8x8x8 box. And the model number is box 888. You might be able to find it on Amazon. It's got no reviews. And where I live, it had next day shipping, so that's why I picked that one. But no, I got protein bowls. You described my work's snack offerings. Oh yes. I love jerky too, like beef sticks and jerky. That's the shit right there. Nothing like some savory meat sticks. The days that I have to work in the office, my breakfast consists of 2 to 4 beef sticks and a sleeve or 2 of the Nespresso coffee pods. And I'm not talking, when I say a sleeve, I mean the whole, how many pods come in a sleeve? 12? I'm an animal. And I know it. Or 6K. Fernando, welcome, welcome. And fixed.
I'm having trouble.
Very good, very
I'm having
good.
trouble.
All right, all right. There's Tony. Let's get their name up. Alright, so Tony here has a bricked HomePod. Yep, it should turn on, and then I believe blinking volume buttons, or let's see here, what do they got? All right. Let me grab my laptop. Oh. There's the blinkies. Here we go. We don't want to scratch that top up when we slide it around the table, so we're going to use that to cover it up. It's part of the case for my USB HomePod dock. I sell these on my website, nixfix.com/shop. If you want to pick one up for yourself to attempt your own software restores on first-gen HomePods, check out my shop, and then shoot me an email when you found what you want. Okay. I'm gonna need another drink before we do this. We have got our laptop. Let's get Apple Configurator open. Let's get Terminal open. Let's get our screen share going. My IP has changed yet again. One day I'll set a static IP for this thing. All right. Don't look at my password. Okay. We are loaded. Ready to go. Let's plug our USB cable into our computer. Let's plug power into the HomePod. And let's try our magic commands. Gas to pwn, gas to reset, and iDevice restore. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Oh. Waiting for NAND. Not good. That means the logic board is unable to talk to the storage chip, or the storage chip has died, which preventing it from talking to it. But 9 times out of 10 when I see this particular error, I've taken the logic board apart and I've reballed that storage chip, giving it a new solder connection to the logic board, and that has fixed it. But in any case, this one is not going to be the easy route. It's gonna want the tough route. So we will save this and Jason's bricked HomePod. We've got 2 bricks to take a look at here. But we're going to save this for later tonight. We're going to come back to it and see if we can't get past that error. I can totally just take this apart and put a different logic board in it, but I'm really trying to avoid that as I've gone through. I've already done that so many times, and I've only got so many left. I want to try to fix as much as I can instead of replace. So we will be back at it here. Tony, sorry for the short uneventful stream for yours, but we'll be back later tonight to get this all wrapped up for you, and we will get this thing back to you before Christmas, and I can all but 100% guarantee that. So as long as UPS or USPS can do their job, we will do ours and get that to you. Everyone else, goodness, I had like 15 or so more show up today, and we haven't even touched any of those yet. This was purely just catching up from this weekend since I was out of town. So, hang tight, folks. If your HomePod was delivered and you haven't heard from me yet, you will soon. Everyone else, if you just got your HomePod fixed here, hang tight. You'll hear from me soon. I gotta go through everyone's and it's a lot. There's a lot to go through. So, I hope you all enjoyed this live stream repair. There is no shortage and there will be more, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Goodbye.